Hi, welcome back to It's Whatever, right? I'm your host, Jen. If you're new to the show, please subscribe. Also, I do have secret podcasts that I only have on Patreon. So please go check that out there. Podcasts that it's pretty much podcasts that nobody else gets to listen to. Um, as you may know, obviously, because I've mentioned this in previous podcasts, I do have a YouTube channel, Jen Moose, so please go check that out after listening to this one, of course. I'm also a writer, so please go check out my writing on Vocal and follow me there. Um, I do have Speaking of YouTube and my writing, I do have secret, like, nobody else gets to read or watch on my Patreon. My Patreon is called, well, you'll find the name of my Patreon and my YouTube channel, which is Jen Moose, and my writing channel on Vocal. Everything you'll be able to find in my Facebook page called The Jen Show. Everything's about me. Me, 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 me. It's basically a page all about me and where I post everything, like updates from my Patreon, when I post something new, after I'm done recording this podcast, you'll end up finding it on my Facebook page. The same thing with my YouTube channel. Any new vlogs or videos you'll find on that page. As well as any new writing. I do have some new writing content on my Vocal account if you want to go check that out. So all you have to do is subscribe. And if you're listening to the podcast on YouTube, you'll find all the links down in the description below. With that said, now that I had advertised myself for the past 3 minutes, it's time to get into today's show of It's Whatever, right? Today's topic is facts of the day. Did you know that most American car horns honk in the F key? I find I some of the facts that I have found are found on simple Google. But anyways, sloths can hold their breath for up to 40 minutes underwater, which is longer than the average dolphin. So lately, I don't know if you notice, my little trend, well, it's not really a trend. Well, I guess to the world it's a trend, but it's something that I'm into. Well, it's not really into, I guess. I don't even know how to, like, word it because it's not like, to me, it's not a trend and it's not something I'm into. It's kind of like my life. I started doing this before it was popular. Um, it's more of living more of a sustainable vegan lifestyle. Yes, some of the timelines may match up to when I became vegan and more sustainable, but to me, it's not a trend. Living sustainable, vegan, and more of a minimal lifestyle. It's my life and the way that I am choosing to live permanently. It's not like some trends that are going to get over next week. It's literally my entire life. Personally, all of the above is not, like I just said, it's not like something that you can do or achieve in a year. It's really not. It's something that you are basically living from today and for the rest of your life. It's not like it's summer, so you're going to wear your summer clothes for a season, and then next season, well, I live in Canada, so, I mean, seasons change by, like, the hour, so, like, this morning it was spring. I don't know, it might be winter this afternoon, this evening. I don't know yet. But as I had said before, everybody has a different definition of what sustainable is to them because everybody lives a different lifestyle. So, my definition of sustainable is completely different from yours. For an example, I'm a artist. Um, So obviously I'm going to have art supplies and I also read, to which I am slowly for reading trying to um, go from hardcover books to audiobooks and reading them on my cellular device or my computer instead of purchasing a hardcover and collecting books, because that kind of defeats the purpose of minimalism. But like I said, I am an artist. I do paint a lot. So the interesting thing about that, before you jump down my throat, is that um, obviously I did start buying my paints and markers and stuff at the beginning from the store, but recently I know a friend who is getting rid of like decluttering their house, um, and has a whole bunch of paints and paintbrushes and stuff. So instead of her just tossing them out, why not? They're still good quality and everything's in good condition, so why not just be sustainable and take them and just purchase them off of her? Um, because or else they'll end up in the landfill. So that kind of like defeats the purpose of living sustainable. Yes, some of the things do come in a plastic container, but they were already purchased beforehand. So it's not like I'm going to the retail store and buying it brand new, um, because nobody can afford that. And yeah, so that's to me that's more sustainable. And instead of it going to waste any new supplies anyways, might as well just take it from her instead of it landing in the landfill. And as I said before, it's kind of like a long life process. So you are obviously not going to have art supplies if you're not into art, or reading or anything. It's kind of like, in my opinion, if you're not going to use it or you have no need of something, don't waste your money on buying it, especially today with what's going on. People hoarding things like toilet paper. To be honest, I don't know why people are hoarding toilet paper, because what do you think people did before the invention of toilet paper? No, seriously. There wasn't always toilet paper around. Um Unfortunately, I live in an apartment and I rent, so it's not like I can put up a day in my bathroom, to which I wish I could. But is a hookup that I could hook up to my toilet and do it that way. And Fun fact, because this is a fun fact of the day podcast. Um, you don't necessarily need toilet paper to wipe your ass. Just saying. Like I just said, you can buy attachments for your toilet and you just kind of like rinse your butt off. And then you just kind of like pat dry or hop in the shower because you didn't always have toilet paper. Also, other fun fact for people wanting to buy toilet paper anyways, because you're all buying them all up. If you can find toilet paper, there are companies, I can't think of at the top of my head, but there are companies where you can order it. This is where I'm kind of fence sitting on sustainability. When you order something online that is more sustainable, doesn't it defeat the purpose if you order it online and have it shipped from your house, like shipped to your house? Like, I get the fact that it's being shipped anyways to your local grocery store, your local Walmart or somewhere wherever you buy your household supplies, right? And then you get in your vehicle and then you go to the store. There's more of that carbon footprint in a way, I guess. But I guess if you just cut out the middleman, you, and have it shipped to your house, I kind of guess it's more sustainable. Anyways, back to wiping your ass. There is a few companies where they take, like to make the toilet paper, they take already used like recycled papers, and instead of like cutting it more trees down and stuff to make your typical toilet paper that you are all hoarding right now in your house, this part 5-10 minutes ain't for you. It's for the rest of us who don't have toilet paper. But yeah, they just take recycled paper, recycled cardboard, and just make it into toilet paper, which is more sustainable because you're taking things that would normally end up recycled anyways and making it toilet paper. Isn't that a fun fact? And another interesting fact about sustainability. You can still live a full and meaningful life while living sustainable. So you can still live the life you are now, but more sustainable. Like for me, I need more art supplies, and instead of going out and repurchasing brand new supplies, buy it off used from somebody else, or for an example, toilet paper. I'm still working on buying hookups for my toilet. Just buying more sustainable toilet paper or simple household cleaning supplies. You can make by hand and clean. Like vinegar is a very good cleaning disinfectant and still cleans your house the same way as the harsh chemicals that you put in your home. I try to avoid plastic as much as I possibly humanly can, but we also live in the 21st century, so sometimes that is kind of hard. But you can still avoid 90% of plastic if you're really trying. It's like sitting there debating if you really want a second cookie or not. Not rocket science. But did you know? See, plastic takes up to 1,000 years to even start to biodegrade. Did you know that? So I'm one to always have some sort of water bottle in my bag or a reusable coffee mug, chava mug. I love my coffee and I enjoy drinking water. I'm always out of the house and on the go. So, but it kind of sucks at the moment, like today, because we're not really allowed to bring our reusable coffee mugs. And I just walked by the grocery store earlier. I don't need groceries today, but my local grocery store, they're not allowing us to bring in our reusable produce bags and reusable shopping bags. Also, produce bags. Speaking of that, on a normal day, what used to be normal for us, you don't need to use those plastic produce bags that it will end up in the ocean anyways. You can like just make your own produce bags, or you can just purchase some reusable produce bags and then just like toss them in the wash after. I don't know. It's so much better. I had received some for Christmas, and I've literally just been trying to collect them. Because I use them like at the Block Barn as well. Because I used to like bring my jars or containers to the Block Barn and fill it up that way and stay in line. Just to weigh my stupid containers and then walk through the store and then back to the checkout line and stand in line again. But after using these reusable produce bags, or like I purchased some from the Block Barn, so I can just fill it up like flour and seeds and nuts that I would buy in my shopping cart. Which that has also helped make grocery shopping a little easier. Now, I watch other sustainable YouTubers online on YouTube and follow podcasts and stuff. I just learned like an interesting fact that about glass. They say that like sustainable living people who live in this lifestyle, our go-to thing is glass. Now glass there's some controversy, blah, about if glass is sustainable or not. Because glass takes up to 1 million years to even start to biodegrade. To start. There's also like a couple other things like glass. The downfall for glass is that to make new glass, it requires sand. But the thing is, we use the sand faster than what the planet can to replenish it. And it is heavier and more fragile than plastic is. So plastic is a lot lighter, and it is easier to like let's say the dollar store. It's easier for the dollar store, because I used to buy my containers, like my glass jars, at the dollar store. So it's easier for the dollar store to purchase a truck full of plastic than it is glass, because it's easier to transport like the plastic, and it doesn't break as easily as glass does, and it's so much lighter. So, and for glass, you need to heat it up to create it between 2600 to 2800 Fahrenheit degrees Fahrenheit. And that's kind of really hot, but the bright side of it is that when to recycle it, you don't need to heat it up as hot. Like 2800 degrees, you don't need to reheat the glass that high in order to recycle it and make it into something else. Also, in my opinion, glass, it never really loses its quality and purity no matter how many times it is recycled. And at the same time, between plastic and glass, um, plastic, it releases chemicals into your food as glass does not. And you can, with plastic, if you reheat it or the more you use it, the more like discolored it gets, and kind of like starts to break down and loses its shape, where glass doesn't. So glass to me is more cleaner and it looks nicer and it's so much better than plastic. I know that there are a lot of pros and cons between glass and plastic on which one is more sustainable and more eco-friendly. I'm pretty sure they have the same definition. Correct me if I'm wrong. But in my opinion, since glass is made from raw materials like sand and soda and ash and limestone. And you can like easily recycle glass and make it into new glass. And like I had said, you can reuse glass over and over and over again, and it's not going to lose its shape and send chemicals into your food like plastic does. Um, so, in my opinion, at the end of the day, if you add up everything between plastic, glass, cans, plastic is more eco friendly. I personally, when I buy things that come in jars, let's say pickles, and I buy my mayo and my mustard in glass jars, um, and after the product is finished, I just wash it out and just put my chia seeds in them later after I go to the block run or something. So to me, glass is more sustainable, more better for the environment than plastic. Another fun fact of everything that is going on in today's society, um, because we're all practically grounded and we've all been sent to our rooms. There's not too many people traveling right now. Like we're not really we can't really fly anywhere, to which is helping with the air pollution there. And half of the people are currently not working, so it's pretty much only essential people who are going out to work every day. So in that sense, there's less cars, less buses, less trucks, less airplanes flying out there, less factories. So there's a lot less noise and air pollution going on outside in the world, and a lot less foot traffic. So that's also a lot less garbage that is being tossed out onto the floor of the planet. So at the same time, that's also like really good for the earth as well, because it kind of gives the world a chance for however long even if it's for, let's say, 3 months, that's still 3 months that the world can, like, the planet can finally, like, yay, I can breathe for a minute. The other beneficial fun fact about being vegan is that I eat more, or try to eat more of a plant-based diet. So it's technically less pollution to make my food than it is to have somebody who's a carnivore and who eats meat and animal products, because like it's not really as many factories, not as many vehicles in order to get me my food. So there's another interesting fun fact about my lifestyle. Did you know that currently 55% of the world's population lives in a urban area, This is expected to increase to 68% by 2050. The built environment is responsible for half of all the global energy used and half of the greenhouse gas emissions. Also, fun fact, as I might have mentioned in my previous podcast, maybe not, but did you know that the rainforest, you've all heard about the rainforest, right? Yeah, well, did you know that the rainforest, it is responsible for 50% of our oxygen that you and I breathe on a daily, regular, second, hourly, minute basis. That's a lot of oxygen. And if it's going to jump up 13% in the next 30 years, that we're all going to live in a more urban environment, more urban area, that's kind of a huge jump. Mind you, it's still going to be a very, very, very long time before all of the Arctic melts, but they say that we have about a good 50 years left of Earth before we're all fucked. Royally fucked, and the Earth can no longer turn back. So stop being an asshole, and please try your best on being more sustainable. But then again, we now have to tell 7 billion people to wash their hands on a regular basis. So, well, there's my fun fact / rant of the day. Well, let's just wrap that up, and thank you for listening to this week's podcast of It's Whatever, right? Don't forget to subscribe if you're new to the show. Hit the like button and share so others can share the same experience as you. If you're listening to this on YouTube, please comment. Feel free to leave your opinion in the comment section below. Also, if you have any topics that you would like to hear, please feel free to comment. I'm always up for a debate and some cool, neat ideas for a future podcast. Thank you for listening. Till next time, bye.